And then the Prophet ﷺ became extremely weak. When he became weak, he started falling to the floor. And the Prophet ﷺ, one Sahabi came and he picked him up. And he picked him up again, and then the people of Taif were not merciful yet. They started pelting the Prophet ﷺ even more. Eventually the Prophet ﷺ had to rest at one of the trees. And while he was resting, Jibreel alayhi salam couldn't take it anymore. He was the friend of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Jibreel alayhi salam couldn't take it. He said, my friend is in this much problems, I have to go and help him. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Jibreel alayhi salam appears in front of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, O Nabi of Allah, if you order me to tell the angel that is appointed upon these two mountains, he will crush the valley of Taif and the people between the two mountains. By using the two mountains, he'll crush them in between, and they will be destroyed completely. And thereafter, there will be nobody left of the people of Taif. The Prophet ﷺ said, no. Why? وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. I have not been sent, but as a mercy unto the entire creation. These people that are throwing stones to me today, Oh Allah, Allahumma hdi qawmi, فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Oh Allah, guide my people. Guide my ummah. They do not know what they're doing. They do not know they're pelting their Nabi. Allahumma hadi qawmi fa innahum la ya'lamun. Jibreel, don't worry. These people who are pelting your Nabi today, tomorrow in their progeny, there will be people who will be saying the Shahada, La ilaha illallah. And the whole of Taif became Muslim. And the dua of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, जो आसी को कमली में अपनी छुपा ले, जो दुश्मन को भी जख्म खाकर दुआ दे, उसे और क्या नाम देगा ज़माना, वो रहमत नहीं है तो फिर और क्या है. The one who gives dua to those who had pelted him. After wounding him, the Prophet ﷺ raised his hands and made dua for them. He was rahmatul lil alameen. And today we see that from amongst the people of Taif had two qabilas. There were two tribes in Taif. One was Thaqif and Hawazin. Qabila Banu Thaqif and Banu Hawazin. Hawazin and Thaqif. From the qabila of Thaqif, there was a person, a young boy by the name of Muhammad ibn al-Qasim al-Thaqafi. Muhammad ibn al-Qasim al-Thaqafi was the one who conquered the lands of the Indo-Pak subcontinent. From the people of Taif was the person who conquered the lands of the Indo-Pak subcontinent, and when he conquered the lands of Indo-Pak subcontinent, subhanallah, today you and I are saying Shahada La ilaha illallah. That was the dua of my Nabi. So his character was such that he would give dua to those who used to pelt him. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. And we have elevated your name, O Nabi of Allah. Every single time we say salawat ala Nabi, durood upon the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, salawat upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we are praising him and his name is being elevated, alayhi salatu wasalam. So, when that was the character of our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when the time came for the conquest of Makkah, the same people who were chasing the Prophet ﷺ, expelling our Nabi ﷺ out of Makkah, and he was going towards Medina, he was looking back towards Makkah. Oh Makkah, we love you. Had it not been for my people expelling me from you, I would have never left you. And then what happens? The time comes for the fatah of Makkah, the conquest of Makkah. He is being, 8 years ago, he is being expelled from his own home as a fugitive. But when he comes back, he is a conqueror of the whole city. But he didn't show any pride. This is the beauty of our Nabi. No pride, not an iota of pride. But as a humble servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is entering Makkah, his head is lowered so down, it is as if his head is almost touching the hump of the camel. That is how lowered his Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's head is. Not with pomp and show and celebrating. You know, nowadays you see footballers, mashallah. What do they do when they celebrate a goal? Run towards the corner flag. Yay, I did it. One goal. One goal you kicked into the back of the net. Imagine this man, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is conquering the entire city. And this is his humbleness, humility. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala imbibe in us the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah make us love our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, learn about the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and instill those characteristics in ourselves. The manner of speech, the adab of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He taught us so many different things that sometimes you're baffled as to really that the deen is so beautiful. It encompasses everything, and it literally encompasses everything. When you think about certain aspects and the things that the Prophet ﷺ said, one sentence he said, that whenever there is gentleness in an action, that action becomes beautiful. And whenever there's harshness in an action, that action becomes disliked. And it's a simple sentence like that. There's a book by the name of Min Adab al-Islam, Islamic Manners, written by Sheikh Abdul Fattah Abu Ghudda al-Halabi rahimahullah, a sheikh from Syria by the name of Sheikh Abdul Fattah, one of the great Hanafi scholars of our time, passed away a couple of years ago. What an amazing book he has written. And in this book he mentions that whenever you have the sunnah of opening and closing a door, the sunnah of opening, we hear of entering. We hear about entering, don't we? We hear about when we enter our house, we should enter with the right foot. We should say the dua, Allahumma inni as'aluka khayral mawlaji wa khayral makhraj, bismillahi walajna wa bismillahi kharajna wa ala Allahi rabbina tawakkalna. When we leave the house, we leave with the left foot. We say what? Bismillahi tawakkaltu ala Allah. We enter into the masjid, we enter with the right foot. But what about opening and closing of the door? What about before even approaching the house? Before approaching the house, there's a sunnah. What is the sunnah of before approaching the house? To make a sound, to make a noise with either our shoes or with our throats, and clear our throats so that the people that are inside know that we are approaching. Creating an awareness within the house so that those people that might be in a certain way that we don't want to see them in, they clear themselves and they ready themselves for us. And when you open the door with gentleness. Don't bang and slash the door. MashaAllah, our masjid door is automatic, no problem. But at home, you hear this. And not just home, entering the door. Entering, when you open the door, you open it with gentleness. When you open the door with gentleness, that opening of the door becomes a beautiful action. Hence, you are completing the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Allahu Akbar. Instead of banging mashallah, a lot of people have this habit, fridge door. Opening and closing. How do we open and close the fridge door? What is the sunnah way? Sunnah way is to do it gently. Opening and closing of the car door. Nowadays, mashallah, automatic doors. You sit down, even if you haven't closed it properly, it's still closed on its own. But even then, why aren't we gentle in our actions? Even when we are angry, somebody storms out. They say that person stormed out of the house. When we storm out the house, bang the door, and it makes a huge loud noise. Probably crack the window or something. But these are the points where we need to understand the sunnah of my Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What did my Nabi say? He said, if you open and if you do something gently, it becomes beautiful. When gentleness is removed, it becomes disliked. The action becomes disliked. Be gentle in your actions. Just that one hadith, and you see and you understand how to open and close the door. There's so many other sunnahs that I could sit here and mention. Even when knocking on the door, we hear the sunnah constantly. We hear the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ went to somebody's house. He knocked on the door 3 times, and the Sahabi wanted to say salam and replied 3 times. And the 3rd time after that, the Prophet ﷺ went away, and then the Sahabi came out and he called him back and he said, "O Nabi of Allah." He said, "Oh, I thought you were not in." He said, "No, I just wanted to hear the salam from my Nabi. The dua, Assalamu alaikum, may peace be upon you." What a beautiful salam, what a beautiful greeting. So between the first knock and the second knock, how long should you wait? Subhanallah. Even that, the scholars have gone into detail to tell us and bring about Islam and character of the Prophet ﷺ. Between the first and the second knock, the scholar Shaykh Abdul Fattah Abu Ghudda rahimahullah mentions, he says that you should wait the amount of time it takes between the person to perform 2 rak'at to 4 rak'at salah. Why? Because it is likely that the person that is inside is performing salah. And there comes the good thoughts of other people, thinking good of others, not thinking evil of others. They must be watching a match, they must be watching this, they must be doing that. No, don't think of those things. Think about good things. Maybe they're performing salah, maybe they're reciting Quran, maybe they're busy with their family. Let us leave them alone and carry on. And don't have any malice in your heart, because the Quran says don't have any malice in your heart. Why? Because that's purity for you. When you return the third time, return. Don't have any malice in your heart that, oh, so and so, look at him. Doesn't matter who they are, even if they are your best friend for years, you've known them and they didn't open the door, doesn't matter. They're busy. So just a simple thing like that, and the Sahaba and the scholars have given us the exact ideal of the character of the Prophet ﷺ. And this goes for phoning as well. Sometimes, when you phone somebody, missed call upon missed call, especially when it comes to spouses. Missed call upon missed call, 17 missed calls from the same person, each within a minute of the other. No. Akhlaq and the character is to wait, because you want to get the attention of the person. If they will, of course, if they see 3 missed calls, they're going to call you back. Maybe they're busy, they can't answer. Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, put it in, implement it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding and the tawfiq and the ability to implement all these things in our lives, inshallah. فَجَزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا وَآخِرُ دَعْوَانَا أَنِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Any announcement? Can the brothers, inshallah, fill in the rooms? Jazakumullahu khairan. Fill in the rooms.
Allah